Today, cities along the southern border are bracing for what is expected to be a massive surge of migrants entering the U.S. The COVID-era border policy, known as Title 42, expires tonight at midnight. The White House, meanwhile, is rolling out some new asylum restrictions, making it more difficult for migrants to seek refuge on American soil. Also this morning, 24,000 law enforcement officers, along with 2,500 National Guard members and about 500 active duty troops, are now stationed along the southern border. While U.S. Customs and Border Protection say they are well past capacity to hold anyone else, more than 27,000 are in custody already this morning. I want to bring in Representative Kevin Kiley now. He represents California's 3rd District. He's also a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Representative, thank you for giving us your time. Republicans in the House set to vote on this new immigration bill as soon as today. What is the status of those conversations at this point?
Well, I think it's looking good. I fully expect that we are going to pass this bill today, which is the most important border security bill that's passed in Congress in a long, long time. And it's never been more desperately needed. When you look at what we've seen since President Biden took office, we've had over 5 million illegal border crossings, over 1.3 million gotaways, folks that escaped detection entirely. The highest number of illegal border crossings on record for a year was 2001, but then that was then surpassed in 2002. And now with Title 42 going away, even President Biden admits there's going to be some chaos. And we had the highest number of illegal apprehensions for illegal border crossings in a single day just 2 days ago. So, this is really just making a already chaotic situation even worse. And it's why we're acting right now in the House to secure the border, to enforce the law, and to getting back to common sense policies that the overwhelming majority of Americans support.
The Secretary of Homeland Security spoke yesterday to the American public, blaming the Congress for not acting sooner, that we're in this situation. Now, what's your response to his comments that inactivity for 2 decades has led to this problem?
Well, I mean, the Secretary Mayorkas is willing to place the blame on anyone but himself and his administration. He's even insisted that the border is secure. We've heard this repeatedly from him and from the administration, when the numbers tell a much different story. And of course, it's not just numbers, it's all of the consequences associated with this. When you look at the human trafficking that we're seeing connected to illegal border crossings and connected to the cartels that are behind quite a bit of it. If you look at the fentanyl crisis that is just, causing unbelievable amounts of tragedy in communities across our country, including my own. I had as my guests for the State of the Union this year 2 parents of a young man from one of my local high schools who lost his life, who was poisoned by fentanyl. And so, the Secretary of Homeland Security is blaming inaction by Congress for 20 years. The reality is that things have gotten much, much, much worse in just the last 2 years since President Biden took office, since he was Secretary of Homeland Security. So we're passing important legislation today. We're also conducting meaningful oversight of what's been going on with the administration. We held a hearing at the border, and we're going to continue to make sure that we return to some common sense policies, we secure the border, and that the administration is held accountable for not enforcing our laws.
Many would say that this bill being voted on in the House is largely symbolic. The president has said he will veto it. So what then?
Well, the president said that about the bill to end the national emergency for COVID. He said he was going to veto it. We passed it in the House anyway. And then the Senate agreed with us, actually passed it overwhelmingly, and the president changed his mind and signed it into law. The same thing happened with the D.C. crime bill. We in the House reversed this very pro-criminal, reckless policy that had been enacted by the D.C. City Council. President Biden said at the time he'd veto our bill, but then the Senate agreed with us. It passed overwhelmingly there. President Biden changed his mind and signed it into law. And so what we've seen is that this is a president who is, very much open to being influenced by the right kinds of political pressure. And that's what I think is happening right now, is that we have a crisis at our border. Americans can see that clearly. Americans overwhelmingly disapprove of the job the president is doing with border security. And we in the House are now passing a set of common sense solutions that the overwhelming majority of Americans support. And so if and when this bill lands on his desk, I think that he is going to face a lot of pressure to do the right thing and sign it into law. And I certainly hope that he does, so we can begin to get this crisis under control.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.